We're getting ready to go racing for one final time in Season 2 of Racecraft TV Rallycross. 2 championships are on the line. One has a clear winner already as we enter into the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and one is largely undecided as we get ready for the final race of the calendar. We welcome all of you live to virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway here on Racecraft TV for the finale of Season 2 of Racecraft TV Rallycross. Joshua Lee here with you in the booth. Alongside is my colleague Ian Fisher. And as always, all car and track cameras tonight, or just car cameras tonight actually, were created by Istvan Balo at trackcams22.com. Well, Ian, it has been a very, very interesting season, I think, to say the least. We, of course, started in Europe at Knock Hill. Then we went to Sonoma, Daytona, Atlanta, and Phoenix. 4 tracks that have been around iRacing Rallycross for a long time. And now we're finishing off the season in the 2, I want to say, underdog tracks because they are still relatively new to iRacing Rallycross. And yes, they were both used in the World Championship in this last campaign, but still largely a mystery to a lot of these drivers, maybe especially in RX2.
In RX2 maybe, but for a lot of these experienced drivers, it's one of their favorite tracks already. Charlotte's a really fun track for a lot of them, and it's a long, wide open, flowing track. There's not a lot of tight areas except for the hairpin back towards the end of the track, but it's an area where these drivers can really get a lot of speed, get next to each other, and really battle for this championship.
Of course, as we grab a look currently at just where we sit in these point standings for RX2, one thing jumps out, and that is the 30-point gap from Connor Berry to Sean Winkler. Now, of course, these drivers still have 1 drop week available, or 2 drop weeks, excuse me, available to them. This week can count as a drop. Connor Berry is in the field tonight. In second place, Sean Winkler is also in the field tonight. But unless Connor Berry earns absolutely 0 points tonight and Sean Winkler has some drop week that puts him above, Connor Berry has all but locked up this championship. And heading into this final round, really all Connor Berry needs to do, Ian, is just start this race, and he is going to be the champion of RX2, which will mean 2 different champions in 2 seasons and a graduation into RX1 for Season 3.
Yeah, but Connor, I think, is still going to be the guy to watch out for, especially tonight with that pressure off of him. Josh, he could just go out there and have fun and really enjoy this race. So I think it's going to be his race to lose. But there is going to be a fun battle to see for our last podium spot in the championship between Carson McKenna and Trevor Teal. Really battling really hard tonight for that final podium spot there, Josh.
And we know both of those drivers can fight until that checkered flag waves, and they're going to be doing that tonight. And of course, one final time for the season. Let's take a look at the race analysis as we continue to get ready for tonight's RX2 action. Of course, RX2 comes before RX1, and RX2 is going to be the less experienced drivers when it comes to iRacing Rallycross, but still 5-lap heats, 5-lap LCQ, and a 10-lap main with 8x incident limit and a fixed setup versus a 6x incident limit and an open setup when it comes to our RX1 drivers. We'll be taking the grid a little bit later on. It's time to take a look at the starting grid for tonight's first race, and it is going to see the driver of the number 99, Alexander Abedi, take the pole position and lead the field down into turn number 1. Zachary Dropkin, Damian Jensen, Trevor Teal, Connor Berry, Andrew Howell going to round out the top 6 on the grid. And going a little bit further down, you can take a look at the final couple of spots, and it is going to be Zach Mitchell, Nathan Ramsey, and Luke Knupp who are going to round out those spots as we get ready to go racing for the first time tonight. And that green light is going to go on, and we are underway. And as they dive down into turn number 1, it's going to be leading them through Alexander Abedi grabbing that early lead, and we have an early incident towards the back. Zach Mitchell is involved. It looks like Damian Jensen and Andrew Howell going to be the ones getting the worst end of the deal there. But as they race through the opening couple of corners and over the jump for the first time, definite leader at the front for Alexander Abedi. But here comes Zachary Drapkin from second place, looking to make something happen for the race lead already.
Yeah, looking for the race lead already. Drapkin is here as we watch him on board, but that turn one is going to be something to watch all night, Josh, like it is anywhere in Rallycross. It's a tight funnel down to the left, and all these drivers got to make room for each other, and all too often we see what happens there. So it's going to be really interesting to see how our best drivers even get through those turn one turns.
And Damian Jensen, a driver off the pace now, and off the track, I should say, after that opening lap incident. And we'll see if we can grab a quick replay of just what exactly happened there. It just looked like a lot of drivers trying to navigate their way into that opening corner, and it looked like Damian Jensen, one of the drivers, getting the worst end of the deal here. As we go up the top, they'll come into view here on our TV cameras. You can see exactly what happened to the 16. That just looked like contact in more ways than one. There goes Zach Mitchell around. There goes Andrew Howell getting a piece of it, and just looked like everybody trying to dive into turn number one there, Ian, and quickly running out of real estate.
Yeah, and it's so easy to have the car get really tight on you there, especially with the all-wheel drivetrains that these cars have, and really just drive off into the tire barrier like we saw there. And the only thing that happens is you just end up in front of the entire field.
And of course, you can remember, as we put that timing tower up, top four will advance their way into the feature race. And a couple of drivers already taking their way into the Joker lane. One driver who has yet to Joker is Connor Berry, who we take a look at now, and who sits currently in the pole with the third spot here. And at the top of the championship, is looking for a song finish to this amazing campaign in. And we'll talk about Connor, of course, more as we go through the feature and into our championship celebrations at the end of the night. But what a fantastic season from the 28, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to do against the RX1 guys in the next season of Racecraft TV Rallycross, just because he has been so strong this season and still so much potential left for the Jim Beaver Esports driver. So we see a lead change at the front. Zachary Drapkin to the front over Alexander Abedi.
Yeah, that's a really good move by Drapkin there to get underneath Abedi and get into the get in underneath him there. We saw Abedi drove a little bit wide and was able to make it stick down there and drive it in. And it's really hard to do that on the dirt without sliding the back end around or moving up the racetrack and getting into another driver.
Drapkin now leads Abedi in second. How about Connor Berry? That's a bold move to the inside of that number 99 Ford Fiesta. It's going to work, but here comes the number 99 back to the inside and back to challenge. And that is exactly what the 99 is going to do. Still side by side as they go through the last couple of corners, using up Connor Berry, and Abedi's going to get turned. More contact with Berry, and Connor Berry is over onto his lid, hard into the compound and hard and into the infield. And that is going to be a feature race missed for Connor Berry. A huge mistake between himself and Alexander Abedi and their battle. And that is going to lead to Connor Berry having to struggle with the LCQ tonight, Ian. That is going to be a huge curveball thrown at Connor Berry tonight. Might not be championship implications, but still now Connor Berry's going to have the biggest fight that he's had all season long.
Yeah, and he's really going to have, I think he's only had the battle from the LCQ one other time this season, Josh, so we'll see what happens there. But really, it was going so well until it wasn't. Everything was nice and clean up until the asphalt section there. It looks like everybody just kind of ran out of room.
Zach Mitchell is going to come across the line after getting caught up in that opening lap incident, and he is going to grab that final transfer spot. As here come the rest of those drivers across the line. We take a look at our full finishing results, and of course they're continuing to update, and it looks like a penalty being given to that driver that was in fourth place, or actually one of the drivers further up giving a penalty. I believe that was Andrew Howell who has received that penalty, but either way, now Drapkin, Abedi, Mitchell, and Trevor Teal going to get gifted a feature race spot, with Luke Canup at Andrew Howell, Nathan Ramsey, Connor Berry, and Damian Jensen now having to race out of the LCQ. We are green and underway for heat race number 2 on the night. And as they race down to turn number 1, that is big incident there as one driver almost gets turned off. It looks like a handful of drivers just going for a little bit of a drift session through turn number 1 there. Nobody ends up getting the bad end of the stick, and we continue on now as a couple of drivers hitting the outside retaining wall. That'll be Scott Kerr that is going to fall all the way back to the end of the field. Aiden Irving getting involved in an early lap incident. Now Sean Winkler and Nick Chacon gonna go side by side. Winkler gets turned, and that's hard contact into the outside wall.
Yeah, it's hard contact to the outside wall, and he also got in on the left side of the turn 1 wall there too, Josh. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the handling characteristics of his car happen for the rest of this race. But out in front to the early lead is Carson McKenna.
And Kyle Pellegrini is going to be that driver who is now going to be in hot pursuit of that opening spot. We go on board with that Subaru WRX STI and the number 04 machine. Kyle Pellegrini joining a bit late, only joined a couple of rounds ago when we began racing at the Phoenix Raceway, but has quickly become one of the rising stars of Racecraft TV Rallycross, and especially here in RX2, as it is fantastic to see Kyle Pellegrini and really excelling now here in RX2 and showing exactly why he is here, and he is looking for a championship in the next season. Of course, joined a little bit late, but I think he would have been one of those championship fighters if he would have joined a little bit earlier on in the season, and as he's going to take into the Joker lane to get that out of the way.
Yeah, no doubt. First time we really get to see a good look at the Joker tonight. It's going to be a long way around for these drivers, so you're going to really train it strategically and make sure you don't lose a spot on the Joker unless you're making sure you're going to be able to get it back, as we get to see inside the cockpit of Kyle Pellegrini here. And yeah, it kind of came out of nowhere, Josh, but really making an impact late in the season.
And continuing on now onto lap number 3, Carson McKenna, who currently holds that race lead, has yet to make his way into the Joker. He will have to do that at least one time before this race is over. And now driver way at the back, Nick Chacon. Not sure if he got involved in an incident or anything of that nature. Thomas Grady looks like he just went way off the track and had to gather it back up down to the inside of that sweeping dirt turn into that inside wall. And as we look towards the back, Scott Kerr involved in an opening lap incident. He's now battling with Nick Chacon, who's going to try and get down to the inside, and he is going to take to the Joker lane as we go on board with Nick Chacon. VR setup, Sparco Racing rally wheel on that Thrustmaster base. It looks like he's all ready to go.
Oh yeah, that's a great little setup he's got right there. And these battles in the 5, 6, 7, 8 spot are still important, Josh, because even though you might not get that transfer from the heat race, this still sets your grid position for that all-important LCQ.
That LCQ is going to be important for a lot of these drivers in this field, specifically Winkler, Irving, Kerr, and Chacon, who are those bottom 4. And we move on to the white flag lap one final time here for heat race number 2 of RX2. And it's Carson McKenna looking for another heat race win here from the virtual Charlotte. Kyle Pellegrini looking to end up in second place, and we have a little bit of a close battle for that transfer spot. We got to go back to Thomas Grady versus Sean Winkler, and who is going to walk away with the better end of this battle. Bottom of your screen, you can take a look at Thomas Grady trying to defend that spot in the feature race. Question is, will he be able to do it? To the outside looks Sean Winkler. Is it going to be enough? Using him up the track is Thomas Grady trying to defend. McKenna gets across the line to win this heat race, but who is going to qualify for the feature from 4th? Contact to the wall for Grady. Can Winkler do anything from 5th? He won't be able to, and that was genius defense from Thomas Grady, and he is going to advance his way into the feature.
Yeah, it was interesting to see what was going to happen there, because we saw the lap before Thomas Grady had a little bit of time coming back to the right there in that last hairpin turn, and I thought that was going to be the opportunity for Sean Winkler to get in, Josh, but yeah, held him off just at the end there.
Carson McKenna ends up with the win. Kyle Pellegrini in second. Greg Johnson, Thomas Grady going to round out the field as take a look down. Sean Winkler, Aiden Irving, Scott Kerr, Nick Chacon, and Felix Waugh, who Felix Waugh did not start for a reason. He is an RX1 competitor, just accidentally signed up for the session tonight. That is okay. He is not racing, and we'll see who out of these now 9 drivers will advance their way into the feature from this LCQ, as we are ready to go racing, and they'll dive into turn number 1. It's 4 wide at the head of this field, and as they dive into 1, a couple of drivers making contact towards the back. That's Nathan Ramsey and Nick Chacon who end up making contact, but Luke Canup and Aiden Irving out to a great lead at the front already. Sean Winkler assumes 3rd, but 3rd is going to be one position too low as Aiden Irving makes contact into the tire barrier and ends up losing not one but two spots, spins it up over the tabletop, hits into another car. That's Trevor Teal, and it looks like also involved in that one was Andrew Howell. So now at the front, it's Luke Canup and Connor Berry over into second place. That is immense luck for the championship leader, Ian.
Yeah, and that's disastrous for Trevor Teal there. He's hanging on to that third spot in our championship battle here in RX2, and now he's in danger of not making the future, which would be horrible for his chances with Carson McKenna winning this heat race, Josh.
And of course, Luke Canup sits at the head of the field right now. Connor Berry sits in second place. And as they continue to race on now, they're trying to put a good gap over Damian Jensen, who is going to assume this third spot and try to catch up to those lead two. We go on board with the 16 of Damian Jensen here as we focus on this battle, and it really can be a three-way battle for this lead as Luke Canup only about 9/10 up the road from Connor Berry. That's going to grow a little bit at the exit of this dirt turn. Look like a little bit more momentum for Luke Canup as he'll dive his way onto another lap. They'll go on a lap number 3, halfway done with this LCQ. Still nobody at the front of the field has elected to take their Joker lap yet. First Joker, you have to go down to 6th place, now 5th to find it. That is Sean Winkler as Andrew Howell dives into the Joker from 5th, goes down into 6th place.
Yeah, and if you're at the back of the field, it's not a bad idea to take that Joker early and try to get some of that time back from the other drivers jokering. But if you remember last week, Damian Jensen had to lead for a short time at Brands Hatch when there was that incident between Connor Berry and I believe it was it might have been Zachary Drapkin for the lead, and Connor Berry ended up coming back on the track and really just taking Damian Jensen out. So if Damian Jensen gets to the back bumper of Connor Berry, it'll be interesting to see what happens, Josh.
Up in the lead, Damian Jensen in second place, and it looks like Connor Berry able to take the Joker lane that time by. He'll give that second and final transfer spot to Damian Jensen for the moment, but Jensen still needs to take that Joker, and it's not a huge loss in time here at the virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway but still is enough that within striking distance, Connor Berry will be able to grab that second spot back, but it looks like that gap has grown a little bit since Connor Berry took that Joker. We'll see if Damian Jensen ends up bringing that Ford Fiesta into the Joker lane this time by, or if it'll be a last lap Joker for the 16. Nothing from Canup in the race lead, nothing from Jensen in second. He's looking to hold on to that final transfer spot into the feature. Now some odd 2.5 seconds over Connor Berry as the white flag is flown.
And 2.5 seconds is exactly what you need, Josh. As long as you hit that Joker lap perfectly, that's going to be just enough time to stay in front of them. But it's just enough of a difference from a regular track to really give these drivers a curveball as they head down in there.
Through the final couple of corners for Luke Canup, looking to qualify into the feature race out of this LCQ. Unknown territory for Canup and Berry to both be in an LCQ, and at least Canup is going to make his way out of this LCQ cleanly into the feature. Down to the Joker lane he goes. Into the Joker lane goes Damian Jensen. We sit on board with Connor Berry. Is it going to be enough to take that second place away from Damian Jensen? And you can look up the road as Connor Berry slams into the wall. Not enough. Damian Jensen takes the last and final transfer spot. He will advance his way into the feature race from second place.
And we saw Connor Berry give it all he had there, Josh, but unfortunately he's going to miss our final feature race of the season, and I think that's his first feature miss of the season.
Unfortunate for Connor Berry. I will tell you what, he is definitely thanking the sim racing gods that he was able to have enough of a lead to where tonight really didn't matter for Connor Berry. He is going to go out of tonight with, I believe, his worst finish at only about 1 or 2 points out of tonight. So that's still not enough for anybody, especially Sean Winkler. Even if you were to win his heat race and win the feature race, still would not be enough. This race will be dropped for Connor Berry, and he will grab that championship. But we enter now into the warm-up, getting ready for the final feature race of the season for RX2. And what a season it has been. Of course, no Connor Berry in this feature, which I think is the most surprising thing heading into the final feature race of the season, Ian. But as we go into this final feature race, there's still a lot on the line for those drivers that are fighting for those other points paying positions, and possibly a driver looking for their first feature race win of the year.
Yeah, drivers looking for the first week of the win of the race of the year and of their careers, so like Carson McKenna, Zachary Drapkin, even Andrew Howell, I believe maybe had a win last season, but still looking for a win this year. And I know that would be big because he missed a large portion of our season so far, Josh. But a lot of these drivers, talking to him throughout the week, they kind of understand that Connor Berry hasn't wrapped up, and they really are taking pride in battling for the rest of the positions that we have left. And we're seeing an exciting battle between third and fourth place, Trevor Teal, Carson McKenna. Unfortunately, I think Trevor Teal has missed the feature race, so that's going to be a blow to him. So really going to look for some bad luck for Carson to hang on to that third place, but Carson McKenna doing all he can to grab that last podium spot in our championship battle.
So as we go into this final feature race, who are you putting your money on to grab that feature race win? Because it really is up in the air, especially with the crop of drivers that we have in this feature race. We haven't really seen many of them have that much success in feature races this season. It's really a lot of them have been overshadowed by Connor Berry being so dominant.
Yeah, and with Connor Berry out of the grid, it's going to be anybody's race, I think, Josh. But really, I think I'm going to look at Carson McKenna. He's had a strong week at Charlotte so far, had a really good race earlier this week in NASA Rallycross. It did really well here at Charlotte as well. And he's been really running some fast laps up there with a lot of the quicker guys in RX1 even. So I think it's going to be his race to lose, and he's really trying to make as many points as he can here in this race. So he's got a real chip on his shoulder.
Well, it's time to take a look at the starting grid for tonight's feature race, and it'll be Zachary Drapkin, who is going to start on the pole position. Starting in second, it will be Carson McKenna. Alexander Abedi will start third. Kyle Pellegrini will start fourth, with Zach Mitchell, Greg Johnson, Trevor Teal, Thomas Grady, Luke Canup, and Damian Jensen going to round out the 10 drivers who are ready to take the green flag here from the virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway. Everybody takes to the grid. We wait on Kyle Pellegrini to work his way into his grid stall. 3 by 2 by 3 by 2. And this will be the last and final feature race of the season for RX2. Drapkin, McKenna, and Abedi on that opening first row. How are they all going to file their way through the very, very tight turn number 1? We will find out. The big question is not who's going to win the championship, but who is going to win this final feature race. Green light is off. Kyle Pellegrini doesn't take the grid, but Alexander Abedi gets away with the best start of the season. He'll go around the outside, grab the lead away from Carson McKenna, who's going to go side by side with Zachary Drapkin as they work their way into the dirt for the first time. Abedi in the Ford Fiesta leads as contact between Drapkin and McKenna for that second spot, but Carson McKenna able to hold on to the last spot on that podium. Thomas Grady, Luke Canup battling for that fourth spot. Grady's going to hold on as Canup holds fifth. Greg Johnson in sixth. Damian Jensen, Trevor Teal in eighth. And Zach Mitchell rounding out the end in ninth place. Looks like a mistake for him on the opening lap. Puts him all the way down the order. But through the sweeping dirt section for the first time. Issues at the back for a handful of competitors. Looks to be Mitchell, Johnson, and Jensen getting into a scrap at the back.
Yeah, scrap at the back, but really good job for all these drivers to get through turn 1 clean. And we saw Alex Abedi on the outside there, Josh, getting a really big run off the corner. And really the pole position here is actually one of the worst spots that you can have, because you have to cut that turn 1 so tight, you lose a lot of speed. It's almost better to be second or third place in this grid, starting from the starting grid here in this feature race.
So Abedi leads. Only 2 drivers to take the Joker lane out of that first race was Trevor Teal and Zach Mitchell. Both of them will sit 6th and 7th. Johnson and Jensen at the bottom of the field. They both had an incident on that opening lap, and they end up in 8th and 9th respectively. One driver did not take the grid. That's Kyle Pellegrini. He will get 10th place finish for this feature race. And for more drivers coming into the Joker lane this time, Carson McKenna is going to join the groups of Joker lanes, and it looks like Thomas Grady as well is going to join them at now in 5th place on the leaderboard. So the top 3, our 3 podium spots have all not taken to the Joker lane, and our 3 podium spots currently in are all 3 drivers who have not won a feature race this season. We've got 2 Ford Fiestas battling at the front of the field.
Yeah, that's unusual. Usually you see the Subarus towards the front of the pack, but I think these drivers found something in practice this week with these Ford Fiestas, a little bit more nimble, shorter wheelbase. As we see, I believe it's Zachary Drapkin now taking his Joker lap. Yeah, they're a little bit easier to get around these tight corners, so maybe these drivers found an advantage here.
Drapkin goes in, grabs his Joker lane, and that will put Alexander Abedi to a bit more of a larger lead in that number 99 machine. He sits at the front now to the tune of 2 seconds. Over now, set second place, Luke Knupp. Knupp has also not taken that Joker lane yet, but from the LCQ and now running for a podium spot here in the feature, you can see how many positions he gained off the start. 7 positions gained from a 9th place starting spot on the grid. This has been a perfect feature race so far for Luke Knupp. Can he cap it off with the win?
Yeah, and if we had a biggest mover award, Luke Knupp would definitely be winning it tonight, and he's in position for a win. Both of these drivers still have to take their Joker laps. Anything can happen in remaining laps here in the feature race, Josh.
I think you said it perfect there, due for a win. That definitely describes Luke Knupp, but Alexander Abedi took to the Joker lane that last time by. He is now going to assume second place and back to battling with Zachary Drapkin in the number 56, who will sit behind him. And as they continue to fight, now back into the dirt, Drapkin's going to take a peek to the inside. He's going to make a little bit of door banging with Zachary Drapkin. They bang once, bang twice again. That's going to move Drapkin way off the racetrack as Alexander Abedi is able to capitalize on that contact made. Took a tight turn down to the inside and now going to pull away by about 1 second over now third place Zachary Drapkin. Carson McKenna is going to join this lead battle, but Luke Knupp at the front still has not taken that Joker with 5 to go. That is only going to give Alexander Abedi more of an opportunity to catch up to this leader.
Yeah, and that door-to-door contact between Abedi and Drapkin opened the door for Carson McKenna to work his way up there into a chance for a podium spot. And I was mistaken. Trevor Teal did make our feature race, so every position is critical here for Carson McKenna as we come down the stretch.
So Luke Knupp in the lead. Is he going to Joker this time by? Doesn't look like he is going to elect to do that. So with 4 laps to go this time by, still a good bit of time left in this race as we grab a look on board with our own Trevor Teal in that number 72. And so far tonight, like you mentioned, Ian, close to missing that feature, but due to a penalty given to another driver that knocked them out of the top 4, he was able to move up into that top 4 out of heat race number 1 and move on into the feature. In 6th place after, I believe, got caught up in an incident earlier on in this feature. Now trying to chase down Thomas Grady, but still a great run for Trevor Teal here in the last feature race of the season.
Yeah, and resiliency and bouncing back have really been the name of Trevor's season so far this year, Josh. He's getting in a lot of incidents that really haven't been his fault. He's been the unfortunate third man in usually a lot of the time, and have been able to bounce back and get to a lot of these feature races and at least salvage enough points to stay in contention for a podium spot in our championship race.
And back through the dirt section goes Teal, and you can see on the bottom right hand of your screen now that is Thomas Grady as we take a look at this battle for 5th on this course. Grady versus Teal with 3 to go. Knupp still has yet to take to the Joker lane. Once that number 77 dives in, that lead battle is going to drastically change, but right now, one of the closest battles on the track is this battle for 5th between Grady and Teal. A closer battle is just a hair up the road, and that is going to be between you now 2 net race leaders once Knupp comes into the Joker. Drapkin versus Abedi, but now the gap between these two with 2 laps to go has grown to roughly about 6/10, which is the largest gap they've had for a while, but over the turtle curves goes Zachary Drapkin.
Yeah, over the turtle curves, that'll probably be a slowdown for Zachary Drapkin as well, too. So we'll see how he's able to manage the slowdown penalty and keep Abedi behind him.
And with 1 to go this time by Luke Knupp, we can take a look at that number 77. Here he comes into the Joker. How is this final feature race of the season going to end? Does Knupp have enough momentum out of the Joker to hold that lead? As Drapkin and Abedi go side by side, Knupp out of the Joker is going to say goodbye at the front of this field as Betty and Drapkin continue to fight in their Fiestas. Luke Canuck in his Subaru WRX STI will pull away in the number 77, and he is looking like he is in the prime position to walk away with a win here in the final feature race of the season. More contact between the two Fords battling for second place. Betty holds the spot, but Drapkin wants it. Send to the bottom. Door slam moves Betty up the track and moves Zachary Drapkin into second place. An aggressive move, but a clean one at that. And now coming through the final couple of corners to cross the line, your winner of the final feature race of the season will be Luke Canuck, and Zachary Drapkin comes home second. Alexander Abedi comes home in third after a dramatic final lap, but Luke Canuck is your winner.
Yeah, what a battle between Drapkin and Abedi all race long. That has to be the battle of our season, Josh. Those two drivers going back and forth for the lead, second and third podium spots all night long. That was fun to watch.
What a way to cap off the RX2 season as Luke Canuck walks away with his first feature race of the season. And these last 3 rounds of this campaign have been won by 3 first-time winners, and all of them are unique. Let's take a look at your full finishing results as Luke Canuck grabs the win. Zachary Drapkin comes home in second. Alexander Abedi third, with Carson McKenna in fourth. Thomas Grady going to round out your top 5 with Trevor Teal in 6th. Zach Mitchell in 7th. Damian Jensen comes home 8th. Greg Johnson in 9th, with Caio Pellegrini going to round out your top 10 finishers. What a way to finish a season. I could not think of a more perfect way to finish off. That was an intense battle for that feature race win, Ian.
Yeah, an intense battle for the feature race and a first-time winner again, Josh. So it's fun to see towards the end of the season a lot of these drivers able to break through, get that first win under their belt of the season or maybe of their career, and get a little bit of confidence going in the next season.
Well, let's not waste any time. It's time to talk to your champion of RX2. He's in the booth with us now, and it is Connor Berry. Connor, first of all, just a huge congratulations to you and the team. I know you fought hard for this championship, and you're able to say that you walked away with the RX2 Season 2 championship. How does this one feel, especially after the dominating season you had, winning all but 3 feature races?
Yeah, it feels awesome. It was just so much fun to get in these cars and learn. Past 3 rounds have been rough, including tonight. It just all came down to me not putting in time just because I'm so busy now with other stuff. So I will take blame for all of that. Tonight I feel like I had speed at least to get in the main, but too much mistakes put me out of it, which is because I haven't been putting in the time. So I will take that blame, but I'm glad I was able to put myself in a good spot where I could have some bad rounds.
And moving forward now, of course, this championship will end up with a graduation for you up into RX1. Are you going to watch tonight's RX1 race? Have you been watching the past RX1 races? And do you think you can just hold a candle to those world championship caliber drivers that show up each and every week?
Yeah, I think I can. It's definitely going to take some work, but I think I can do it.
And I know, Connor, there's a lot of people behind you who made all this possible for you and who gave you that drive to get this championship and be the second ever RX2 champion.
I want to give a big thanks to Jim Beaver, Esports, CBR, General Tire, Vision Wheel, Positive Energy, and all of you guys for the stream, and Josh and Teal for this league.
Well, thank you very much for joining us again. That is your RX2 Season 2 champion, Connor Berry. And we're not done with the post-race here of RX2. We'll get to RX1 here in just a moment, but we are going to speak with your feature race winner. It's Luke Canuck, who's standing by with Ian.
Luke, congratulations on your win tonight. Tell me a little bit about your journey, though. You didn't make the feature through your heat race, had to go to the LCQ, and then battle your way from deep in the field for the win. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, it feels great. did the IRX All Stars this past year and won the championship, and then kind of was done with the Rallycross there. And then you know, I really liked the Charlotte track, so I wanted to come out and then see what I could do. And you know, they didn't let me qualify, which completely understand. So I had to come deep from the heat race there, and ended up getting a jump start, which completely messed up, and almost made it off of that still, and just got a good consi start and won that. And then just knew I had to keep my nose clean there at the start of the feature, and you know, made it cleanly. Had fast lap, most laps led, so super stoked to come from 9th and get that win. But look forward to next season.
And we'll look forward to seeing you next season as well. Now, when you got out in front, what was your Joker strategy at that point? Did you want to hold on to it for as long as you can, or what's your mindset there?
You know, I was talking with the guys in the other Discord, and I was seeing what the Joker delta was, and I knew it was a longer Joker, but I didn't know how long. So I felt like if I had a 2.5 second gap, I could have made that. So I knew Zach was battling with Alexander there. And so I was just seeing if Zach could get back to Alexander there, and then they would beat around a little bit more. And fortunately, they did, and took that Joker at the right time and had a little bit of room to play after that.
Yeah, and your room to play was good enough to get you to first place. Is there anybody that you want to shout out that helped you get the win done today?
For sure, I got to thank Black Platinum Solar and Electric Vision Canopies, ShenandoShine.co, Impact Race Gear, Rigid Industries, Luke Knupp Racing, you know, everyone else, the Mohawk Foundation. Thank you guys.
Yeah, and thanks a lot, Luke.
Well, that will
And
cap
Josh,
off our RX2 season. And Ian, just what a season we've had. Let's put a cap on it. Connor Berry, dominant season. He's going to be a threat in RX1 come season 3. I just know it.
Oh, yeah. If we get to see Connor Berry come back for RX1 next season, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. And he's going to have a tougher test. He's not going to be able to walk away like he did in RX1 or 2. But I think that's what RX2 is there for, to you really, you know, get yourself up to speed and then really see where you stand up against those guys in RX1.
Well, we are getting ready for tonight's finale of RX1. We'll grab a short break here on Racecraft TV, but you do not want to go anywhere, because some of the best of iRacing Rallycross are getting ready to do battle. It's the RX1 championship round. Who's going to walk away with the championship? Who's going to walk away with the final feature race win of the season? Stick with us and you'll find out.
Going to go to the start of this one, because the revs are rising. Away they go for the feature race here.
Welcome back to the virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway. We're getting ready to crown a champion for Racecraft TV Rallycross RX1 here in Season 2 of action. Back with you here in the booth, it's Joshua Lee and Ian Fisher alongside me. And once again, all car cameras tonight were created by Istvan Ballo at trackcams22.com. Now, as we get ready to go racing tonight, in the story of RX2 was who's going to walk away with this final feature race win. The story of RX1 is who's going to walk away with the championship, because there is two drivers that have an opportunity to win the championship tonight: Connor Parisi and Josh Fox. Now, drop weeks still need to be counted in after this event is over, but right now an 11-point gap sits at the top of this leaderboard, yet Jakob Rafas sits only 6 points behind that. And with 23 total points up for grabs tonight, it could go either way of Fox or Parisi, and you could even throw Jakob Rafas into that championship fight as well. So we have three drivers that are mathematically eligible to walk away with this win.
Yeah, and interesting enough, Jakob Rafas, the only driver in RX1 this season that has multiple wins, yet he still finds himself in that third spot. So it's going to be a real tough battle between Connor Parisi and Josh Fox, like you said, for that top spot. Jakob Rafas still has a chance, but it'd have to be a catastrophic night for both the top two drivers for that to happen.
We saw it happen with Connor Berry, who missed the feature race, our RX2 champion, and he ended up, of course, still winning that championship. But tonight, these RX1 drivers do not have that luxury. Let's talk about where we are, since we have a little bit more time before RX1 gets going. The virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway, and I believe, as my friend Arjuna Kankipati said when the World Championship came here for the finale, this track actually has the largest percentage of dirt around this course. That at 0.83 miles makes it one of the longer rallycross courses as well, Ian.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right about the dirt. It's a 60% dirt to asphalt ratio, so a lot more dirt than these drivers are used to, and a lot of the critical turning and braking zones are dirt as well. So that's why you see some of these drivers driving down to the turn we see here, get into that outside wall and create a lot of havoc, is because the dirt makes that car so unsettled, and it's a really fun, challenging test for all of our drivers.
Challenging test is right, and that is why these drivers are some of the best iRacing Rallycross drivers. These drivers, most of them compete in the World Championship, and our race analysis reflects that. Same format as RX2, 5-lap heats with the top 4 advancing, a 5-lap LCQ where the top 2 will work their way into the feature, and then a 10-lap main event. However, at the bottom, it is a little bit different. A 6x incident limit for RX1 and an open setup. Because these drivers are a little bit more experienced, we expect them not to be banging into each other as much as the RX2 guys, or banging into walls as much as the RX2 guys, and they also have the option to use an open setup and really just take it to the next level, with most of these drivers being on professional esports teams. Now, a little bit of a change in the format tonight. Normally, we have the drivers in RX2 compete in RX2, and the drivers in RX1 compete in RX1. Well, RX2 was all RX2 drivers, but in now, any drivers that'll be moving up to RX1 in the next season of Racecraft TV Rallycross have the opportunity to run an RX1 tonight. So we see Connor Berry and Luke Canup join the group of world champions.
Oh, and what a night it could be for Luke Canup if he's able to go 2 for 2, Josh, at our race tonight. And I really like this idea that our admins put on, where it gives some of those drivers that know they're going to move up a chance to see where they stack up before going in the next season.
Well, the clock has wound down on qualifying, and at the top, it's the driver who is trying to go from second to champion. And that is the 12 of Josh Fox, who sits on the pole position here for heat race number 1. The 12 of Josh Fox starts on the pole. Robbie Larrill will start in 2nd place. Connor Parisi will start 3rd. Daniel Aish in 4th, with Connor Berry in 5th. Marcus Palacio 6th. Bodie Cryer is going to round out the 7 drivers who are ready to take that green flag here tonight as the drivers populate onto the grid. You can see that number 12 Hanson Williams esports machine on the inside line of Josh Fox. He sits 2nd in the points with an 11-point gap to Connor Parisi. Both of them are in this heat race. This could get very, very interesting as we get ready to send these drivers down into turn number 1 and get started with the evening. We are underway And as they dive their way into turn number 1, it's going to be a great start for Robbie Lorell and Connor Parisi on the outside as the championship leader goes into the middle line of 3 wide and takes the race lead as they go through the dirt section for the first time. Lorell goes into second. Into third goes Josh Fox. But that Hanson Williams Esports number 12 not set to sit in third. He goes up to second now to try and challenge championship rival Parisi for the race lead.
And what a start from our front row there. You saw again, Josh, the drivers in the second and third spot were able to get that run off of turn 1, and our pole sitter had the yield to those 2 drivers. But the move of the start there was Connor Parisi making it stick somehow and just powering his way to the lead.
That was a beautiful start from Parisi. Josh Fox, an early joker coming out from the Pennsylvania native. He's going to fall all the way to 5th, being the only driver to work his way into the Joker lane that time by. The 11 of Connor Parisi going to continue to lead the way. Robbie Lorell in the 213 continuing to now sit in P2 with Daniel Aish and Connor Berry. First RX1 appearance for him after missing the feature race in RX2. Sits in the final transfer spot here for tonight's RX1 feature race. But he is a world championship competitor breathing down his neck here, Ian.
Yeah, and I like that gamble by the real-life sprint car driver there, Josh Fox, as we see him battling away with Connor Parisi there. Takes that early joker, knowing he can get those spots back and really putting the pressure on the drivers in front of him.
Connor Berry comes into the Joker. Last time by, also electing to take that Joker lane was Connor Parisi at the front of this field. He'll sit in second place as Robbie Lorell is going to assume that first position for the moment. Of course, the RX1 feature race winner from Brands Hatch 1 week ago. Looking to make it 2 feature race wins in a row for the number 213. He sits in the lead of this heat race, Ian, but still a Joker lap to be taken for both him and Daniel Aish. That could put him behind Connor Parisi, and where he currently stands, that's looking like it's going to be the truth.
Yeah, and really right now, Robbie Lorell has clean air, so all he has to do is focus on hitting his marks, running clean laps, and building that 2.5 second Joker delta that he needs to stay in the lead.
And building that gap can be especially tough when, of course, Robbie Lorell, known around Racecraft TV Rallycross, known around iRacing Rallycross, but he has never competed in a world championship. He's got a championship driver breathing down his neck here of Connor Parisi and just a second and change behind. And you can see that Dirtfish Jim Beaver Esports paid behind him. That's a lot of pressure for a driver out in the lead.
It's a lot of pressure, but Robbie's heating up at the right time, so this is a real big test for him. I'm sure he likes seeing these drivers in his mirror, but it's really got to be now one of these things that you have to do if you want to move to that next level is keep guys like Connor Parisi and Josh Fox behind you. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Lorell can do with his Joker strategy still in play on their last lap here.
Josh Fox, who sits in third now, has taken his Joker. Only driver left is Robbie Lorell in that 213 as he works his way back into the dirt section. Does he have enough of a gap to keep that race lead over Connor Parisi? This could end up being a really, really tight exit. And will it be enough for Robbie Lorell to end up grabbing your RX1 Heat and Race number 1 victory? Through the Joker lane goes Robbie Lorell, and it doesn't look like it's going to be enough. Grabbing that win will be Connor Parisi, but Robbie Lorell will be able to capture second place. He still will advance his way into the feature, and Daniel Aish comes home in fourth. Connor Berry, unfortunately, not enough for our RX2 champion to qualify for his first ever RX1 feature race event. He'll have to try and qualify out of the LCQ as Marcus Palacio ends up 6th. Bodie Cryer ends up 7th after not starting on the grid. Ready for heat race number 2 now as that field starts to take to the grid. It'll be Jakob Rafos who starts on the pole. Josh Edmondson in the 58 will start in second. David Schofield, Ryan Mowry, Ryan Murray, Cohen Addard, and Luke Knupp are going to round out the drivers that are taking the grid here for heat race number 2. And as we get ready to go racing, we'll go on board with Ryan Mowry as he is set and ready for this feature race to begin. And let's go ahead and grab a look on board with Mowry as he gets started in the RX1 heat race number 2.
And what a shot we have here, Josh, as he fires it down in the turn one. Really just an unenvious position to be in, as we see him lose it here and go into that joker. That's gonna be tough to get turned around and get back on track there. And it's so easy to do that on the inside line. Just lock up those tires and spin around when you're trying to stay off other drivers.
Especially when that run through turn number one is one of the tightest runs into turn number one. Reminds me a bit of Brands Hatch. Not exactly the challenge of Brands Hatch, where it's basically just one big drop off in a dirt section, but still very challenging to nail that corner, because you only take that corner once. It is not a corner that you are taking, multiple times in a heat race, an LCQ, or a feature. You take that corner once per heat race, once per feature, once per LCQ. These drivers don't really have a lot of experience with it.
Yeah, and it's an interesting situation as well, say if somebody has to reset from the pits and merge back onto the track, because it crosses right over that joker lane. So really so many points of intersection off that opening run that's like only used for one part of the race, like you said, Josh.
Two Jim Beaver Esports cars lead the field. That's Jakob Foss and Josh Edmondson. David Schofield sits in third. But now sitting in fourth, it will be Ryan Murray, with Cohen Addard and Ryan Mowry going to round out that field. And it looks like a problem for Luke Knupp. Puts him into the pit lane. Let's see what happens to the number 77, the feature race winner tonight from RX2. And he just got a little bit too wide in that dirt section and hit the tire barrier and ended up getting spun around. That's so easy to do, Ian. We've seen that multiple times tonight, and unfortunately, it's just one of these problem areas of Charlotte. You want to nail both of the apexes of those opening two corners, and you've got to go wide to be able to do that through the second corner. And unfortunately, a handful of drivers just go just a hair too wide and end up too far into the barrier.
Yeah, as you alluded to, the best way to get around that corner and to make the most speed is to throw your tail out as wide as you can. But yeah, you run that risk of slapping the wall and spinning yourself around, and it's really the courteous thing to do at that point to just reset so you don't take out other drivers.
On board with Josh Edmondson, a 1.6 second gap over his teammate, Jakob Foss, who currently leads the way. Now, still a good bit of time remaining in this race with 2 laps to go, and a good gap developing between Rafus and Edmondson. Now, David Schofield from third place has just taken his joker. Ryan Murray still needs a joker from fourth, and both of these front runners at the front of the field in first and second, Rafus and Edmondson, both still need to work their way into the joker. They must do it at least once before the end of this race. Ryan Murray in fourth is going to take that joker lane this last time by, so now that just leaves the top 2 in the running order. Foss going to avoid it this time, and will Edmondson avoid it too? Yes, he will. Looks like both the Jim Beaver Esports drivers going to take it a little bit clean and a little bit easy heading into the feature. Both of them are locked in, and with the gap to fourth place from Jakob Foss being about 12 seconds, just looking to take it safe on this final lap.
Yeah, looking to take it safe and just lock up that positioning, not make any mistakes, and just get through the rest of these turns clean, Josh, and look forward to that feature race.
Through the dirt section one last time here in heat race number 2 for RX1. Yet Jakob Foss in the lead. Teammate at Jim Beaver Esports, Josh Edmondson in second place. Joker lane this time by for Jakob Foss, and he'll dive in. No pressure from Edmondson behind him, as grabbing that win here in heat race number 2 will be Jakob Foss in the 13. Josh Edmondson in the number 58, also going to come across the line. He comes in second place. David Schofield in third, and Ryan Murray is going to round out the top 4 transfer spots and move his way into tonight's feature race. We'll get set for the LCQ as we take a look at the finishing results here from heat race number 2. Jakob Foss grabs the win. Edmondson, Schofield, and Murray will join him in tonight's feature race, with Addard, Mowry, and Knupp having to race out of the LCQ that we are getting ready to race in now. On the pole for this LCQ, a bit of a surprise will be Connor Berry. Now, if you're just joining us here for RX1 and you're recognizing Connor Berry as one of the names in RX2, well, first of all, you would be correct. Second of all, the admins have decided that any drivers advancing up into RX1 in the next season are allowed to run here in RX1 tonight for the finale. Connor Berry and Luke Knupp are those two, and Knupp is going to be at the back of the field. Marcus Palacio with a beautiful start at the front will overtake Connor Berry, puts that CBR machine backing into second place.
Yeah, the top 2 spots advance, so really, really important there for Palacio to get out to an early lead and try to put some distance on these 2 drivers that are breathing down his neck.
Palacio out in front, looking to hold on for just a bit longer as Berry sits in second. Cohen Adder is going to sit in third. Bit of a touch to the outside wall as Luke Knupp going to try and find a way around in that number 77. How about Connor Berry getting a little bit aggressive? He's trying to take a look down to the inside of Marcus Palacio that time by. No gap, couldn't do it. Joker lane on the opening lap for Connor Berry. He's going to lock it up through the Joker lane, lose a bit of time, and it looks like Luke Knupp also going to join him in the Joker lane. Ryan Mowry also going to take the Joker early.
Yeah, a whole platoon of drivers there taking the early Joker lane. You don't see that very often, Josh, but now it's going to be a battle between all these drivers here at the back to try to get away from each other and get some clean air so they can chase down the 2 remaining drivers that haven't jokered yet.
And the 2 remaining drivers who have not jokered are Palacio and Adder, who sit at the front of this field and sit in those 2 transfer spots for this LCQ. Now Palacio is going to blend up just a little bit and will not be taking the Joker lane that time by. Neither will Cohen Adder. 3 laps to go in the LCQ. And Connor Berry is trying to close that gap just a little bit. Where he sits now is about 1 second back from those drivers in front of him. And Ian, he's in a good spot to overtake at least second place when Adder comes into the Joker, but is going to need to make up a little bit more time if he wants to walk away with his LCQ victory. But especially after that mistake from Adder, Connor Berry can see the target on the back.
Yeah, he only has to get to the top 2 to make the feature race, so the undercut strategy is working for him now as he puts more and more pressure on Cohen Adder here. Just going to be his race to just race clean and try to get these guys as close as he can.
Marcus Palacio still leads with 2 laps to go. Adder now in second place with Connor Berry now right behind him. Almost slides in, almost makes a bit of contact, but he won't. And these drivers are not leaving an inch of space out on this course. You're on board with Adder as he tries to run away from Connor Berry, who sits in third, trying to hold on to this final feature race position. But as they work their way through this dirt section again, look at Connor Berry get aggressive down to the inside line, trying to take over that second spot. Marcus Palacio, who sits in the lead, takes the white flag. He saves his Joker for the last lap. So does Cohen Adder. And Connor Berry on his back bumper here in. This is looking like bad times for Adder as Berry makes contact, sends the 131 up the track.
Yeah, and now it's going to be a battle this entire time. We've been talking about Berry and Adder, but Luke Knupp has been licking his lips here saying, yeah, come on, guys, race each other so I can get close to you. And now it's going to be a shootout between him and Berry for our final transfer spot.
Adder falls to 5th. Knupp to the inside. He's got a little bit of an advantage, but Berry is going to make contact with him. They door slam once, door slam twice, still laying on each other. As Palacio comes into the Joker lane, we watch this battle for the transfer through the final 2 corners, back onto the asphalt. It'll be all Connor Berry, and your RX2 Season 2 champion will make his first RX1 feature race appearance tonight.
Yeah, really elbows out racing there for Connor Berry into the final dirt pit, able to muscle his way into the final or feature race here.
And grabbing that feature race win was Marcus Palacio. Connor Berry ends up in second. Luke Knupp, Ryan Mowry, Cohen Adder, and Bodie Cryer are heading their way home. So we leave just the feature race left tonight for RX1. And Connor Berry didn't make the RX2 feature against the drivers he's been racing with all season long, but he gets graduated up to RX1 in this finale as just a bit of a prep for RX1 in the next season of Racecraft TV Rallycross, and he'll be starting 10th in the feature.
Yeah, a little bit of vindication for Connor Berry here, and I'm sure a lot of people are happy for him, that race with Connor Berry all the time, to see him make this RX1 feature in his first attempt. So, just a warm-up for him, but really good to see him make the feature race, and it'll be nice to see what he can do here, Josh, in his first RX1 feature.
Of course, mentioned that being the first RX1 feature for Connor Berry, and I definitely do not think it is going to be anything close to the last one for Connor Berry. As we continue to get ready, 45 seconds remaining in the warm-up. We'll update you on the championship whenever we get that information from our Racecraft TV Rallycross officials. They need to go through the points. They need to make sure the drop weeks are counted. They need to put in these results to be calculated by the iRacing League section. Then we will get an official word on a champion. But heading into this feature, what we can tell you is that it will be between Connor Parisi and Josh Fox, depending on where both of them finish. Jakob Rafos is a bit of a wild card heading into this finale. If he gained enough points in those heat races, he might have an opportunity, but with only 15 points on the board for this feature race, it is unlikely that Jakob Rafos has any opportunity left for the championship. So we'll be talking about Josh Fox, and we'll be talking about Connor Parisi as we enter this feature race. And for one final time, we are getting ready to go racing into the RX1 feature race from the virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's time to get the final feature race underway, as Connor Parisi will start on the pole. Jakob Rafos starts second. Robbie Larill, Josh Edmondson, Josh Fox rounding out the top 5. David Schofield with Daniel Aish, Ryan Murray, Marcus Palacio, and then Connor Berry will start shotgun on the field and try and get his first ever RX1 win from P10. Ian, who's your money on as we get ready to dive 10 cars into turn number 1? It was hectic in RX2. I think it'll be just equally as hectic in RX1.
I think Jakob Rafos is the guy to watch here. He sits in P2, so he's got that outside line going into turn 1, and like you said earlier, it's really win is the only thing that you can do, and then just kind of lead it up to fade after that. So I think that takes a lot of pressure off of Josh.
All 10 drivers are on the grid for one final time in Season 2 of Racecraft TV Rallycross. It's time to put 10 of iRacing's best loose on the virtual track. We are underway. It's a great start on that outside line as they try and dive 3 wide for the race lead down into turn number 1. It's a great start for Connor Parisi and Jakob Rafos. It's Rafos versus Parisi as the teammates make contact. Rafos is sent into the barrier. He somehow holds on to that car, now side by side with the other Jim Beaver Esports car of Josh Edmondson as they race through the opening couple of corners. Parisi ends up with the lead. Jakob Rafos somehow gathers that car into second, and just like that, Josh Fox is into third. Our 3 championship competitors into the podium spots on lap 1.
And our drivers were scattering there down in the turn 3, but I don't think there was any contact made between cars. I think the only contact that happened was between Rafos and the wall.
Connor Parisi ends up with the race lead. There's Rafos now having to deal with the Hanson Williams Esports number 12 of Josh Fox behind him. We'll see if we can grab a replay of that opening lap and what happened there to Connor Berry. I believe it might have been just a hair of contact, or something happened to Connor Berry at the back. It looked like a bit of contact between him as well. Let's go back and find what happened to Jakob Rafos here on this start. And they dove 3 wide into this opening corner. And as it settled out, down right here into turn number 2, you might be right, Ian. I'm not sure about any contact with Connor Parisi, but other than that, it was very, very close to making contact. And these teammates, they might be teammates, but they're going to race each other hard, and they're not battling for this race lead. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I think these Jim Beaver Esports drivers, normally teammates expect to be raced a little bit cleaner by their fellow teammates. Not anybody at Jim Beaver Esports. I feel like they're insulted if their teammates don't race them harder than anybody else on the track.
Yeah, and you have to agree with that. Those guys really push each other and battle as hard as they can as we see him go door to door here with a little bit of contact. Let's see if Rafos goes for the undercut here. Nope, he's going to stay to the outside, but that's opened the door for Josh Fox now to get in here. So it's a three-way battle for the lead, Josh.
And these are the three championship contenders coming into this final round. Jakob Rafos trying to go around the outside. That'll turn quickly to the inside advantage for the number 13. Give Rafos the race lead as Connor Parisi goes to second. What can Josh Fox do now? As the Hanson Williams Esports number 12 still sits in third, but a very aggressive approach from that number 12 Subaru. He's going to try and get around the two Jim Beaver cars that he sees in front of him, but how much work is he going to have to put in? And how far is Jakob Rafos going to pull away now at the front of this field now that he has an opportunity to? Josh Fox all over that back bumper of Connor Parisi. He gets a little bit of a run down to the inside. Not enough momentum to carry him through that dirt corner. He'll stay in third.
And this is so fun to watch. Little taps, little door bumps, little everything like that, but nobody's losing control. Just guys racing hard for the lead. And while these guys are battling up at the front, you see in the background there another Jim Beaver Esports car, Josh Edmondson. He's gaining some time on these guys, so we might have a four-way battle for the lead here soon, Josh.
Josh Edmondson has been one of those drivers who has just always been around the front of the field, has not been able to get a win yet in both Racecraft TV Rallycross and this season of Racecraft TV Rallycross. Josh Fox and Connor Parisi are continuing to bang and to spar for the second spot, and that little bit of contact lost so much momentum for the 12 of Josh Fox. He falls a little bit back, falling a little bit of momentum now down into the clutches of Josh Edmondson in that 58. Edmondson looking for a podium finish here in what I would believe would be his second podium finish of the season, but he's got Josh Fox in front of him. In the top four now can be separated by about 3 seconds on this track, but 2 seconds is the gap between Rafos and Parisi at the front of this field. I don't know if it'll be enough to capture Rafos that championship, but what a statement race from Jakob Rafos. This would be feature race win number 3 if he's able to grab this win.
Yeah, and that's all he can do is just drive away and try to win this race and let it fall where it may. But Josh Edmondson now battling really hard with Josh Fox. You know, there'll be a lot to these Jim Beaver Esports drivers to lock out the podium.
And Edmondson, of course, needs to now get by Daniel Aish, who is going to grab that second spot away as Edmondson comes into the Joker lane that last time by. One of the first drivers in that lead group to come into the Joker lane. 5th through 9th of Joker, Connor Berry is off the track. And after his opening lap incident, he will finish this race in 10th, a handful of laps down. So the only drivers left to take their Joker lane on the racetrack is Rafos, Parisi, Fox, and Aish, your current top 4. Still at the front of the field, 2.6 seconds separating Rafos and Parisi as they continue to fight at the front of this field. 3 laps to go this time by. Still nobody able to touch the Joker lane at the front. Looks like Daniel Aish comes in from 4th. Those a spot to both Edmondson and Schofield. And that 33 will fall to P6 as second place battle heats on again. Parisi versus Fox, round 2.
Parisi versus Fox round 2, and now it's down to the Joker delta between Fox and Edmondson for our final spot on the podium. I'm not sure exactly where it's at right now, but I don't know if it's going to be enough for Edmondson to be able to grab that spot, but a fabulous battle here we see between Parisi and Fox.
Here comes Josh Fox in the 12, back to the bottom of the racetrack. He's not able to open that door enough, and there's the Joker. The 12 of Josh Fox for Hanson Williams Esports decides the Joker with now 2 laps to go. Rafos and Parisi, the only 2 drivers now left on the racetrack that still need to come into the Joker lane. Rafos is clear of that Joker lane delta, and it looks like Connor Parisi might be at the just a little bit clear of that Joker lane delta if he makes no mistakes before he comes into the Joker from Josh Fox. Question is he going to come in this time by before the white flag, or will he save it for that final lap? Rafos comes around, he'll save his Joker for the final lap. Let's see what Connor Parisi in the 11 is going to do. He's going to elect to come to the Joker this time.
Yeah, that puts the pressure on Josh Fox to really race this clean lap and put that pressure as he's here coming around right next to Parisi here. So that's going to be a battle to watch.
Josh Fox ends up in second. Now Parisi right back to his back bumper. Edmondson joins him as well. Will they be able to get a lockout at the front of the field for Jim Beaver Esports as he comes around through the final couple of corners here from virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway? He'll come into the Joker lane this time by, and the Jim Beaver Esports number 13 will sit atop the podium for the third time this season at RX1. Jakob Rafas is victorious again, but the question is it going to be enough for the championship? Josh Fox will come home in second. Connor Parisi is going to come home in third. But now the question must be asked, did Connor Parisi give up enough points for both Fox and Rafas to have an opportunity at the championship? We'll wait for our official word, but I believe right now our unofficial champion will be that 11 of Connor Parisi. We'll see when we get that word from our Racecraft TV Rallycross officials, but if it is a championship for Parisi, that's one on consistency. An amazing season from Connor Parisi. He did have a feature race win earlier this season at Atlanta Motor Speedway, but a beautifully consistent season for that Jim Beaver Esports number 11.
Yeah, and we got Trevor Teal in the production booth telling us the best RX1 race of the season, and I think I have to agree with them. There was battles all over the place for every lap. You know, it wasn't stretched out in any way, and it was just battling right to the end with Joker strategy. As you see our Jim Beaver Esports drivers celebrating there, you know, they're happy with what they did, and we can see it burning it down.
We were calculating team points. I definitely believe Jim Beaver Esports would be atop of that leaderboard. But atop of the leaderboard from RX1 feature race action, it was Jakob Rafas in the number 13. Josh Fox comes home in second with Connor Parisi rounding out the podium. Your three championship contenders finish top three, and we're battling the entire night in the feature race. That could not have gone better for a finale. Josh Edmondson rounds out in the top four with David Schofield finishing fifth. Daniel Asian 6th, Robbie Larill 7th with Marcus Palacio, Ryan Murray, and Connor Berry going to round out the 10 drivers that took the green flag tonight in RX1 feature action. And we just got the word from our Racecraft TV Rallycross officials that your official champion of RX1 action is Connor Parisi. And what a season it was for the Jim Beaver Esports number 11. An amazingly consistent season for him, Ian, as Fox takes P2, Rafas takes P3, but Connor Parisi is your champion.
Yeah, Connor Parisi able to stay consistent all year long. Jakob Rafas able to come home with 3 wins that Connor Parisi has won. But it's not all about wins. It's about how you do every single week. And that motto, consistency, led Connor Parisi to his championship this season.
And Parisi now joins the likes of Garrett Maines as drivers who have won the RX1 championship in Racecraft TV Rallycross history. Let's not waste any time. Let's bring your champion into the booth, Connor Parisi. Connor, I just got to start with what a season for you. You might not have had a ton of wins in the win column with feature races this season, but just talk about that consistency from you all season long to walk away with the second ever championship of RX1 history.
Yeah, it's great. I wasn't expecting this coming into the season. I knew I wouldn't be able to really give this as much prep as J-Bob and the rest of those fast kids go. So this is great. Got to thank the whole Jim Beaver Esports crew for helping me out.
And of course, you talk about that Jim Beaver Esports crew. What does it mean? I mean, it's a league. It's not a world championship, but especially with, Rallycross World Championships on the horizon, and of course that upcoming off-road championship. What does it mean to just kind of give both you and your Jim Beaver Esports team just a little bit more momentum heading into those world championships?
Yeah, we got a killer truck squad, so those guys really they've had momentum the whole time, so I'm not worried about them. But for the Rallycross stuff, Josh and I missed the World Championship last year, so it's good to kind of show that we can still run with these guys and be up front. And with the addition of J-Bob, our Rallycross crew is fairly stout.
We look forward to seeing what you can do in the next qualifying series for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship. And just to put a cap on this season, who makes it all possible for you? Because I know you've got a list of people that really just help you and the team succeed. And who are they? Give them a shout out.
Well, mostly the RX guys. Got to thank them first. So Josh Emerson, J Bob, really helping me out with sets and whatnot. Chris and Jim for having a good team, putting us and putting good weapons together. And then all of our sponsors and partners. We got Dirtfish Rally School, Next Level Racing, General Tire, Fistful of Bourbon, Vision Wheel, and thanks to you guys as well. These shows are always fun to watch.
Thank you so much for joining us again in the booth. That is your RX1 Season 2 champion, Connor Parisi, ends up victorious at the end of the night. And we continue with our post-race show with Ian Fisher now standing by with Jakob Rafas.
Jakob Rafas, you gave it all you can tonight, coming home P1 and being the only driver I managed not to commentator curse all year. So congratulations on your P1. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough to get you to that championship, but overall, what are your thoughts on the season?
It's been a great season, dude, with Connor winning the championship, and I'm happy for him. And yeah, congrats to him. And to take P1 at the last round was just, it was perfect.
Well, P1 in this round, P1 in 2 other rounds. You had the most wins on the season. Again, didn't get the championship, but what does it mean to you to have the most wins all year?
It means a lot. It definitely means a lot. It's cool to have of wins in a Racecraft season.
And so how will you use the momentum with all those wins in your P3 in the championship going into the rest of this year, using it as a turn-up going into World Championship qualifiers?
Yeah, it'll be a great advice from Racecraft if there's going to be any iRacing World Championship. Might be, but yeah, let's see how it goes.
And who gets it done for you, Jakob? Who do you want to thank tonight?
NBA Sports, Vision Wheel, Next Level Rig, and Dirtfish.
And all those people helping him get it done. Josh, thanks a lot, Jacob, for having us tonight. And congratulations on your third place. Oh, yeah, Jim Beaver, guys. And congratulations on your third place finish there, Jakob.
Yeah, thanks, dude.
And continuing on with the post-race show, we'll grab a word with your second place finisher in the feature and second place finisher in the points. It's Josh Fox. And Josh, unfortunately, not able to grab that championship tonight, but still, you showed that even with taking a couple of races off, that you can still fight. And when you were here for Racecraft TV Rallycross action, you were always running up front. What was kind of missing from tonight and missing from that podium finish?
Well, first of all, congrats to Connor, and I really appreciate the season here. It's been a fun time, all the races, getting to race these guys like Connor and Jakob and Josh and everyone else who puts it on. So thanks a lot for that. And yeah, it was a fun race tonight, getting to mix it up a bit, but I certainly think the heat race launch was missed, and then a very poor Joker heat race strategy put me pretty much out of it after the heat race from the points. But still a fun time, and yeah, looking forward to the next seasons.
Of course, the prep for that next upcoming qualifying series, and of course the upcoming seasons of Racecraft TV Rallycross, running against Jakob Rafas, Connor Parisi, Daniel Aish, Robbie Larill, some drivers that you would see in that World Championship, some drivers that'll be trying to fight out of the qualifying series. But what does it mean to you to just kind of run against these drivers that are pushing you to do better each and every round and getting that experience? Doing single car testing is good, doing some hosted races is good, but running in a league like this has got to be an advantage to you heading into that World Championship.
Yeah, there's no better thing for me to be doing or place to be racing than right here against these guys. And you get lucky in official races every once in a while, but the level of competition here really keeps you sharp and teaches you, helps you get better. So yeah, it's really great.
Who makes it all possible for you, Josh? I know you've got a lot of people, especially at Hanson Williams Esports, that really make this possible for you and that help out with your RX outfit.
Yeah, appreciate it. I gotta shout out the whole Williams Esports crew with Hanson Motorsports, Ben Q Monitors, Chill Blast PC, Fanatec, Heising Feld Pedals, Team Razor, Playseat, One All Sports. We got a great group over there. Glad to be a part of it, and looking forward to racing with you guys some more in the future. Thanks again.
And thanks again for joining us here in the booth. That is Josh Fox, your second place finisher in the feature, also grabbing second place in our final points standings. Well, as we round out another season of Racecraft TV Rallycross action we saw numerous different winners. The only repeat winner we saw was Jakob Rafas. Other than that, Christian Rafas Lindo, Josh Fox, Connor Parisi, and Robbie Larrill all grabbing wins along with Jakob Rafas. So 5 unique winners in 7 rounds in these feature races. This was one of the most exciting seasons of Rallycross action that I've ever seen on the iRacing service, and I know when we go into season 3 of Racecraft TV Rallycross, it's only going to get better.
Yeah, and congratulations to Connor Parisi, our RX1 championship, and Connor Barry, our RX2 champion. And I just want to say a quick thank you to you, Josh, and Josh Edmondson, Trevor Steele, Racecraft TV, having me on this year for this role. It was a ton of fun, and I can't wait to do it again next year and see all these drivers back next year, running back again.
And of course, we'll release that Racecraft TV Rallycross date and schedule for season 3 when we get it. But we can tell you coming up in 2 weeks is the return of the virtual off-road racing series Pro 2 Championship. That'll blend in to the qualifying series for the upcoming World Championship and the upcoming World Championship season, the first ever one for off-road trucks on the iRacing service. So you can catch that starting in 2 weeks time, and starting in a little bit less than a month, your Monday nights are going to get a lot more exciting. We had a lot of amazing feedback and a lot of great viewership when we covered the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car World Championship qualifying series last year, and we are happy to announce that we are going to be broadcasting the World of Outlaws Butt Kicker Late Model Series powered by iRacing qualifying series, where we get to see who will qualify for the upcoming World Championship series as late models go back to the top echelon of sim racing competition. Kokomo, Cedar Lake, I-55 Raceway, Weedsport, Williams Grove, and Charlotte in 6 straight weeks of dirt track action. You don't want to miss it. That'll be Monday nights right here on Racecraft TV at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time. We thank you for joining us for Season 2 of Racecraft TV Rallycross. It has been an absolutely fantastic season of action. Congratulations to Connor Parisi and Connor Barry, our 2 champions. Will anybody repeat in Season 3? Find out when we go racing again. For Ian Fisher, I'm Joshua Lee, saying good night from Charlotte.